I just bought a cheap bottom bracket online. You can see it back here. This is a Chinese made bottom bracket. It cost me $10.25. So pretty reasonably priced, cheap. So I needed a new bottom bracket, but my old bottom bracket was still serviceable. It was just pretty crunchy and probably didn't have much life left in it. So I thought, let's go ahead and roll the dice on a cheap Chinese bottom bracket, see what we get, and if it doesn't work, or if it looks like total crap, something I wouldn't trust, I still have my old one as a backup. And I can always go down to the local bike shop and for $30 get a square taper Shimano bottom bracket. So this is square taper JIS, Japanese Industrial Standard, 116 millimeter spindle width, regular BSA English threaded bottom bracket shell. So I got this installed in the bike 4 days ago. Day one I rode it 59 miles, day two 48, day three yesterday 62 miles. So those are all, well, not all, but mostly trail miles. Trails around here mean, if it's a flood prone area, nobody wants to build there anyhow. They'll put a park in and put a trail, so most trails go by the river. It's been a lot of rain, so as you can tell by the bike, the trails are kind of sloppy. Right, so I'm already riding in conditions that would be difficult for a bottom bracket anyhow, so this is a good test for the bottom bracket. And I don't know how it's going to spin pretty good when I put it on there, but we'll see. Now let me shift it down. And take the chain off. See if I can get it to shift down. Yeah, I couldn't get it to shift down yesterday either. That's another job. The main reason I have it up on there. Okay, but anyhow, chain's off now. So no worries there. A little bit of chain rub. Ah, great. So obviously a lot of chain rub. And I need some front derailleur adjustment, but that thing is spinning pretty good. So, for $10.25, that's not too bad. Now, how long is it going to last? Well, all of these bottom brackets, these square taper bottom brackets with the sealed cartridge bearings, are disposable. So who knows? I go through bottom brackets because that type of configuration is difficult to get in there and service. I'll go through bottom brackets more than I'll go through chains because I can clean and lube my chain. It's difficult for me to get in there and clean and lube my bottom bracket. But anyhow, I'm gonna pop these cranks off, and I'll show you what you get for $10.25. So there it is. So I left the crank bolt in here for purposes of illustration. This came with the bottom bracket, right? So I wanted to leave it in there just so you know you do get this. So it's the case here is just anodized blue aluminum. And some of the teeth here are depopulated, but you can still take this on and off with the Park tool, basic Shimano tool. This is BBT 22 from Park Tool, and that'll pop that right on and off of there. The on both sides there's a rubber seal on the outside that basically acts as a bushing against the tapered part of the spindle here, so this keeps gunk on the outside. I recommend when you get these bottom brackets, you put some sort of lubricant in there. I use just a Super Slick Stuff spray lubricant because that seems to stay on the, it's, first of all, it's a light lubricant, but it seems to stay on the surface long term instead of gumming up and rolling out. Just on the other side of this, of course, is a bearing. It's all steel bearing, sealed on both sides with a fairly tight seal. So if you really wanted to eschew reliability and pursue a super low watt spin, right, you could spend $10.25 on this bottom bracket. Take out that seal, go in, pop off the side seals on the bearing, and that's going to be most of the spin resistance on your bearing. Okay. Spray in a degreaser to remove the grease, put in a light lubricant, and you're going to have a super clean spinning bearing, very low frictional loss for, at least 500 miles. You may not have the greatest reliability, but maybe you're in a race or something like that, and that's what you want to do. You'll have trouble finding a bottom bracket that's going to spin more than that. Now, this isn't a super light bottom bracket. If I take these crank bolts out of the equation and just throw this on the scale, out of the box it weighed 307 grams. But that's typical. So if we were to take all this bottom bracket out, you'd see it's got an alloy shell around the rest of the spindle just to keep gunk that's coming down the seat tube out of it. And I'll put a link in the description of this video to the seller's website in case you're interested. But nothing special about this bottom bracket. So I'm curious to see how reliable it's going to be. If I get 3,000 miles out of it, that's going to be typical for me. Like I said, I'm pretty hard on bottom brackets. As you can see, I already got a bunch of gunk in there. And if I get 3,000 miles, I'll be happy. I could buy 2 of these for the price I would pay for an online, domestically sourced square taper bottom bracket from a name brand vendor. So not bad. Delivery time on this is where it's going to get you. It took about it took 2.5 weeks. Okay, so I ordered it mid-December, and I got it. Let's see, after Christmas, just after Christmas. So I guess that's not bad from China. It's 2-week delivery time for free shipping, by the way, on a $10.25 item. So maybe I said it's slow. Maybe I'm being a little overly critical here. It wasn't too bad. 2 weeks with a holiday period in there. So I think that's what you can expect. So far the transaction hasn't been bad. It's no better or worse than the bottom bracket that was in there before, which I purchased from the local bike shop, in which, by the way, probably the same situation, probably made in China. So anyhow, that's been my experience.